On a normal day, when small things keep going wrong around me, a rude message, a late cab, a sudden headache, do I lose my cool? Do I quietly swallow it? Or do I stand up and handle it? I'm Akash, trying to make astrology simple for you. Today I want to talk about the sixth bhava, the sixth house in the birth chart. This house is all about my daily battles, challenges, enemies, confrontations, health issues, and all the little obstacles that test me every single day. I like to think of the sixth house as my fight-back muscle in astrology. It doesn't show whether I have problems, everybody does. It shows how I deal with them. What is the sixth house in simple words? In Vedic astrology, the sixth house is linked to enemies and opposition, arguments and confrontations, illness and health problems, and those day-to-day struggles that never fully disappear. In real life, that looks like the colleague who always competes with me, the neighbor who keeps complaining, the pile of work that keeps growing, the body that starts protesting when I abuse it too much. The sixth house is like a report card that asks me, when life gives you friction, what do you do with it? Daily obstacles, my everyday battlefield. I see my sixth house clearly on a random weekday morning. My alarm rings. I snooze it once, twice, maybe 3 times. Now I'm running late. The maid is late. Gas cylinder is almost empty. My phone is buzzing with office messages. By the time I actually sit down with my laptop, I already feel like I've had a mini war. Then comes the to-do list. Emails, deadlines, small urgent tasks. One big task I keep postponing. Here, my sixth house shows itself in my habits. Do I organize and attack my tasks one by one? Or do I keep jumping between apps and end the day exhausted but incomplete? Do I quietly accept extra work from everyone? Or do I learn to say no when needed? These small, daily choices, finishing the tough task first, replying politely but firmly, keeping some structure, are all part of my sixth house story. Enemies and confrontations, not just villains, but friction. When astrology talks about enemies in the sixth house, it's rarely about some dramatic movie villain. It's more about people and situations that push back against me. For example, the colleague who always tries to show they are better than me in front of the boss. The relative who keeps making sarcastic comments about my job, salary, or choices. The neighbor who parks badly, plays loud music, or keeps complaining about small things. In these moments, my sixth house decides. Do I avoid and silently burn inside? Do I explode and then regret my words? Or do I have that middle path where I stand my ground calmly? I picture myself in a meeting where someone takes credit for my work. My heart is beating faster. Do I stay silent and feel angry later? Do I shout and create a scene? Or do I simply say, actually, I worked on that part of the project. Let me explain the details. That calm, clear response, without drama, without fear, is the higher side of my sixth house. Health and sickness, how I deal with my body's complaints. The sixth house is also strongly linked to health and illness. Not one random fever, but the pattern of how I treat my body and how my body reacts. I notice it when my back starts hurting from long hours at the desk. Acidity starts becoming a regular visitor after late-night spicy food. Sleep becomes poor because my mind is constantly stressed. Here the sixth house asks, when your body complains, do you listen? Or do you just push it harder? Maybe the doctor tells me, your cholesterol is high. You need to walk daily, control food, manage stress. Now my sixth house shows, do I actually build a routine? Evening walks, lighter dinners, less sugar? Or do I follow it for 3 days and then go back to old habits? This house doesn't only show what disease I may get, it shows how disciplined I can become when my health demands it. Service, discipline, and the art of handling problems. At a deeper level, the sixth house is also about service and discipline. I see it when I help a family member with their hospital visits, medicines, forms, even when I'm tired. I show up at work on a tough day and still give my best. I clean my room, pay bills on time, organize documents, not because it's glamorous, but because it keeps my life functioning. All the unseen work I do for myself and others, that too is sixth house energy. It's the house that teaches me to slowly become stronger than my excuses, to respect routine, and to see problems as training instead of only punishment. A few questions I ask myself. When I look at my sixth house, I like to pause and ask, when someone opposes me, do I collapse, fight blindly, or respond with clarity? Am I treating my body like a partner, or like a disposable machine? When life gives me small daily battles, do I run away, complain all day, or build systems to handle them better? Because that is the real gift of the sixth bhava. It shows me not only what kind of problems I might face, but what kind of fighter I can become. Once I started understanding my own sixth house, I stopped dreaming of a life with no problems. Instead, I started working on becoming a person who can deal with problems smarter, calmer, and stronger. If you want to see what your sixth house says about your challenges, your health, and the way you handle opposition, visit astrology.com for instant astrology.